Hey everyone, first and foremost, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch my documentary. I really want to thank the people who have helped me along the way with this journey, and I'm very proud of what we all came to create, and I'm really looking forward to the many new projects that I'm going to be working on in the future. With all that said, I want to thank you all for your support and hope you all enjoy. I always loved basketball. I can remember going back to elementary school, just playing on the playground, like with friends, and it was a lot of fun. There were like many friendships made, many friendships tarnished. Some fights broke out, but at the end of the day, we all had fun just playing together. That's what I always thought of it to be. I thought basketball for me was just playing with friends and just to kill some time, and especially during like break time or recess, it was just a great time to just take a break from school and just play. I ended up making one of the biggest decisions when I was in high school when I tried out for the team my freshman year. It was it was very scary as a freshman, so honestly freshman tryouts can be like very intimidating, and but ultimately I ended up making a team, and it was honestly some of the best years of my life, just playing basketball with my friends, especially for my school. And what more can you ask for, in that case.
Back in high school, me and Nelson were basketball teammates. He was my shooting guard, my point guard. I was his everything else, every single small forward, power forward, center. Wasn't Lob City or anything like that, but we got stuff done. Great chemistry. He knew where to find his spots in terms of his offensive prowess. He was a great shooter and a great teammate. I've known the guy since first grade, and so chemistry for the team was always there. It was just a bunch of seniors trying to rough up some other guys. We weren't exactly there to win a state championship, but we were there to have some fun.
As a teammate, Nelson always made sure to lead by example and to lift his teammates up whenever we were down. As an underclassman and Nelson being 2 grades above me, he always just pushed me to be my best as I could be and just helped me to play strong.
Best advice Nelson gave you?
During the senior year, Nelson came into our class to meet his former teacher. He told us to never give up on your opportunities, always to work hard. Even when the doors seem to close or the future doesn't seem bright, just keep pressing on, keep working hard, because hard work pays off in the future.
I had high hopes to play college one day, but I wasn't good enough to play for college. But I still love the sport, and I wanted to continue playing even though I didn't make a college team. CSUN was my go-to place. The gyms were always nice, and I just loved that place so much.
So over there is the CSUN Rec Center. This is where I used to play all the time, just to de-stress from school and just to play some games with people. And I met a lot of great people here too. And also down here, that's like the route I used to run back when in my high school days. So that's basically where I did all of my conditioning around here. I would basically run the entire college campus, and that's basically how I got into shape.
The gyms were occasionally packed. Sometimes they were empty. Whenever they were empty, it was just a great time for me to just shoot around myself and just to take some stress off, from school. And whenever they were packed, I was always excited to play some games with the many people over there.
I'm trying to see if there's anything going on in the gym right now because, due to COVID, not a lot of stuff has been happening here recently, so everything's still the same from what I remember.
CSUN was like a safe haven to me, just to get away from school and get away from things that were tough at the time. But then one day that all changed. I remember going up for a layup in a game, and the guy in front of me, he hip checked me midair, and I lost control, and I ended up falling full contact on my lower back with the floor. At the time, it honestly didn't feel like anything. I didn't feel hurt. I didn't feel like anything was wrong. I just got back up and continued playing like nothing even happened. It wasn't until I got home and I just couldn't anymore. I couldn't walk, I couldn't stand. I had no idea what was going on. I was honestly terrified whatever happened after I got back. The diagnosis was that I had ruptured a section of my spine in my lower back, and that ended up causing my left leg to feel the pain. I basically lost mobility in my left leg. A typical day in the life of me after the injury was I literally spent half a year in bed, literally just doing everything. Classes, homework, have dinner, sleep, you name it. I literally did my whole life out of my bedroom for half a year. I just felt like my life was gone at that point. I remember I stood up for after a long time of being in bed, I stood up to stretch, and it was so painful that I literally shed a tear after that. I couldn't live like this. I just couldn't. I went to go see my doctor, and he told me it's either you live with not being able to walk again or get spine surgery. What were your first thoughts when you heard Nelson had to get surgery?
The first thought you have in your mind is like, okay, well, how serious is it? And you want to assess the situation fully. Obviously, I'm concerned because Nelson is my good friend.
So definitely I could empathize, but never to the point where he was in terms of the injury that he had. It's just a terrible thing.
I was in shock. Hearing that it happened while playing basketball just really opened my eyes to see that he got injured.
I was heartbroken. I went through my whole life being healthy, and then this suddenly happens. It was very tough at the time. I didn't like the way I was living after the injury, so I opted with the surgery.
So this is where everything started, right here. It's like very sentimental to me to come back to the gym. That's where I came to play in the games, practice, just play some fun games with friends. It's a lot of fun here, man. A lot of fun here. I miss this place so much. I don't think the gym's open, so I can't go in, but this was like my home at the time.
The surgery was a success, thankfully. And the next thing to do was to go to the rehab process. How was the rehab process? Rehab was very scary. It was one of the toughest things that I ever had to go through. It just felt like I wasn't safe with my body all the time. All I kept thinking about was one wrong move and it could all be over. This was my first ever surgery and I just didn't know what to expect or to react. Eventually I started to get the hang of things. I started to pick up how to walk again. Walking eventually led to being able to run again. And then I just had to go through a lot of strength exercises, balancing exercises, and then, it's just recovery after that. So that was my new daily routine, which was rehab, recovery, sleep, and repeat until I'm fully back to normal.
I have 100% confidence in my friend Nelson as well as, I kind of pray for the best.
After his surgery and his rehab and how he worked hard to get back to what he was doing, it was really inspiring as a person to see what you can do when you put your mind to it.
I think back to before the injury, I was not giving everything 100%. But after this, I realized to myself that you never know what can happen to you. Like I said, I went through my whole life healthy, and I literally had my whole life taken away in one basketball game.
What about basketball?
Basketball? I was very scared to go back to basketball. It literally almost changed my life. And it was very tough at first, but I knew I didn't want to quit on the sport. I started off very conservatively, just taking it easy until then. And before I knew it, I was back like I never left. Something about the sport, it just draws me in. And, no matter what I'm going through, whether it's something school related, something life related, I can just always fall back on basketball. And it helps me forget about what's going on, It also has led me to meet some of my best friends and some of my lifelong friends. I feel like we just bonded over the sport, and it's something that I will always cherish and not take for granted. We tend to forget about the things that bring us all together. I went from being able to play almost every day to missing out in everything for a year, and now I'm officially back better than ever. You'll see.